DreAllDay.com.
What's going on, everybody? Dre Baldwin, DreAllDay.com. It's Friday afternoon, about 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we're here for the Q&A. I believe this is number 11. As usual, I have not looked at these questions, so I'm gonna get to every question that's in the Q&A number 10. If you post a question after this time, the question will not be addressed. You need to post it in Q&A number 11, which is the video you're watching right now. If you ask me something I've already covered, I will refer you to the proper location to find that answer. If you ask a whack question, it will not be addressed in this video. So make sure you keep questions, one question per person, so everybody can get their questions in. And usually when people ask more than one question, the first one was the best one. So pick your best question and ask that. Before we get into that, as usual, this Q&A is brought to you by G Fuel. This is energy powder. Basically, you pour this stuff in your water. It's sugar-free. You drink it during your workout. It's all natural, basically dietary supplement, energy supplement. I've been taking this for a few weeks and I like it pretty much. No ill side effects, no crash. Like when you take energy drinks, there's no crash. So, and full disclosure, G Fuel sent these to me in order to mention them in the video, so I'm mentioning them in the video. As far as the questions that you see posted in the comments of this video, do not respond to those questions. I will respond to all questions. Do not write your answer to the question. I don't care what your response is, just don't do it. As far as the basketball tournament, $500,000 basketball tournament in Philly this summer. I got a team in there. We're looking for supporters, the most supporters, people who support the most. You get prizes not only from the tournament, but also from me. That's DreAllDay.com/TBT. T is in Tennessee, or T is in V. B is in basketball, T is in tournament. The basketball tournament. DreAllDay.com/TBT. That's where you can sign up. Become a fan. You bring in more fans, you get points. The more points you get, the more prizes you get from them and from me. That's it. Let's get right into this Q&A. Coach Alex Mastro is first. So he got a letter telling him that he got chosen to play in a basketball tour in America at the end of the year. So I'm guessing Alex is not in America. He's going to play against varsity high school players, and he's going to keep working so he doesn't get his ass kicked. Motivate him mostly to not give up and work hard. And he says, I'm one of his biggest role models. So thank you, Alex. I'm glad to hear all that stuff, and hopefully you do well on your tour. And he has a question. His question is it better to practice hard like it's just a game, or walk around slowly taking shots? Alex, you already know the answer to that. You got to come to me with a better question next time. I know you post questions every week, but don't just ask me something just because I'm making myself available here. You already know the answer to that, so I'm not even addressing that question. Kurdi Korha Singh says, do you have any tips on getting a quick, explosive first step like Derrick Rose or John Wall? Kurdi, if you want to be explosive, you got to practice explosively. So look at the speed and quickness videos I posted on my channel, and also take a look at the Ultimate Athlete program, which is at hoophandbook.com. So if you want to be explosive, you got to practice explosive. There are no secret tricks to it. You just got to work on your explosion. So look at the speed and quickness playlist, and then when you're actually on the court practicing, do your moves explosively the way that you want to be doing them. If you want to be that, you got to practice that way. Elias Money says, do I pre-record videos, or do I record it the same day I upload? Isn't that kind of the same thing? Skinny Shack 33 says, I'm already familiar with the defensive slide. Can I give him tips to get more steals? Well, Skinny Shack, the best way to get steals, if you're talking about fundamental basketball, like playing on a team that has a coach and a system, you want to play fundamentally, which is to stay between a man and the ball and stay within your team's defensive scheme, whatever that may be. Each team has different schemes, and your coach will explain that to you. If you want to actually try to gamble for steals, when you go for steals in basketball, you're gambling, like playing passing lanes or trying to jump a pass you see coming, jump a lane, or overplay a guy, or if a guy's dribbling in front of you, you reach for the ball. Understand that the people who get the most steals in basketball games get maybe 2 or 3 steals a game, but they're going for steals a bunch more times than that. A lot of players, they're playing passing lanes. So every time you get beat, you go for a steal and you don't get it, you're basically giving up an easy bucket to your opponent, because now your team is playing 4-on-5 because you're out of the play because you went for a steal, which means your man might score, or somebody has to help one of your teammates to make up for your mistake, and then his guy's wide open for an open shot. And like I said, you're playing against players who can play. Those are going to be easy baskets for them, which will probably get you pulled out of the game. So I would suggest to you, don't look for ways to get steals. Just play sound, solid defense. Force your man into a bad shot, or the opponent into a shot that they can't make, or a challenged shot, and get the rebound. You got the ball. It's the same thing as getting the steal. But gambling for steals, you're probably going to end up losing. You know what they say about gambling, the house always beats you. So you might gamble and win a couple times, you might win a couple hands, but the more you gamble, eventually you're going to walk home with less money than you walked in with. And that's why casinos make so much money. So don't bet on gambling as a success strategy. Max Maximus says, what skills hoop handbook is best for the most unathletic players, excluding strength training programs? Well, Max, is no such thing. I mean, any player has to decide what their game is going to be. So for a player to be unathletic, that really doesn't apply. I mean, basketball is a sport, so you got to be an athlete to play the sport. I guess you're referring to players who are not super explosive or athletic, but that all depends on that individual player. So that player has to decide what skills they want to work on. There's no one program that, okay, if you're this, you need to do this. That's not how basketball works. Every player has to decide who they are and what they're about. That's like saying what car is the best car for a 20-year-old white woman. That makes no sense. Like that, each person has to decide what car they like. So it doesn't apply that way. Matthew Castro says, do I have any videos that are for speed, quickness, and agility? I already addressed that earlier, Matthew. Take a look at the speed and quickness playlist. Yes, so if you go to YouTube and just type in my name and type in speed and quickness, it's gonna come up. It's right there. Kalen Ferguson, he says, besides players being more athletic and a post game being used a little less, in my opinion, what I think is different about the NBA today as opposed to the 80s and the 90s. What I think is most different about the NBA today, well, there's more three-point shooting. Because the three-point line was just coming in, like in the late 70s or early 80s. The three-point line has just come in. So now the three-point line is, there's a whole lot more three-point shooting going on. I would say that's the number one difference from then to now. Matthew asks, do I have a March Madness winner? No, I don't. I don't really watch college basketball, so. And the tournament's already started, so for me to say who's going to win now would be cheating anyway. If you're going to make a prediction, you got to say it before the game starts. But I don't even watch basketball, college basketball like that, so I have no winner, no opinions. I'm just watching. Suhail Siddiqui says, what do I do for ball handling? I do ball handling drills. If you search my name and type in ball handling, you'll see about 400 videos. I post a ball handling drill every week. I don't know what kind of questions y'all asking me about stuff that is obvious and easy to find. I'm thinking y'all starting to get lazy because I'm answering these questions. Now, if you're too lazy to look up a video, how much effort you going to put into actually working? Y'all starting to worry me with these questions now. Next question, Chili Claw says, am I a trash talker on the court? Well, that's variable. It depends. If somebody says something to me or something happens, then I might say something. If nobody's saying anything, then I might not say nothing. So it's not a guarantee, like, yes, I'm a trash talk every game, or no, I'm not. It just depends on the situation. Jigga Stewart says, do I have a girlfriend? No. Well, people post that question every week. Martin Ivanov says, do I have a sponsor or sponsors? I may. I mean, you just have to keep watching the videos to see what I bring up. You see me mention anything, then maybe I do and maybe I don't. Ahmed Masood says, what is my favorite memory involving basketball? My favorite memory involving basketball, I don't know, it's a tough one. Probably just playing professionally, any places I played professionally. The Nike game I did last summer was pretty fun. College basketball was fun. Growing up playing was fun. I can't think of any one isolated thing. There's no one thing I can point out off the top of my head. I had to really think about it. Since I got to think about it, that means it ain't really no one thing. You know what I'm saying? The Fruity Melon says, would I quit YouTube if I get into the NBA? Well, the YouTube's not like a job, so no, I don't have to quit YouTube. I can put up YouTube videos whenever I want. So the answer is no. Ricky Gutierrez says, what height did I want to be when I was younger? I didn't want to be any height. I mean, you can't control it anyway, so why would anybody be aiming to be a height? That doesn't make sense to me, but maybe for some of you, maybe that's what you want to do, but I didn't want to be any height. I just wanted to be me, whatever that happened to be. I worked on the things I could control, which is my effort, my energy, my attitude. Kevon Wesley says, what do I bring in my Nike duffel bag? I guess he sees in my videos. I bring a basketball and I bring some shoes and a camera, of course. George Haddad says, thanks for answering his question. It really helped. And you're welcome, George. Nick Russell says, when I play overseas, well, how long was my specific season? It depends on where you play. Every country is different. If you go to Germany or France or Spain, those are each countries the same way the United States is a country. So wherever you are, the season is different. Different leagues have different lengths, and they can change from year to year. So whatever one season was maybe 2 years ago, they might change how it is the next year. So, but any of those you can just look up on the internet and find out for yourself. Cam Johnson says, do I think I could beat anybody in the NBA one-on-one? If so, who? Well, somebody asked me this a few weeks ago when they was asking me about playing a guy in verse 1. I'm not a guy who's going to sit and say, I'm going to play this guy and I'm going to beat him one-on-one. I'd rather it actually happen, then maybe we could talk about it after. But I'm not going to sit here and say I could beat this guy or that guy. Do I think I could beat anybody? I don't know. Set the game up. You find an NBA player, set the game up, and then we'll see what happens, and then the spectators can talk about it. Timmy Olo says, why are you so mean to your fans? I don't think I've been mean to anybody. I'm just answering the question straight up. Some people are just sensitive. Asan Khan says, I'm going to share something with you that brings WOYFG, brings meaning to that for him. He says, he was in the gym shooting around, working on his game. This dude had boots on, was watching him practice. He came over and made 7 threes in a row without warming up. He said, we'll be here all night and I won't miss it. He left the gym. He was surprised because that's what happens when you work on your game. All right, Hassan, thank you for sharing that story. Roland Jaworski says, what was my worst on or off-court injury? Luckily, knock on wood, I haven't had any serious injuries. Juan Cruz Guerrero says, who is the worst basketball player you could think of? There's no worst player I can think of. The best, I say Michael Jordan. Mr. Q-Ball 864 says, what's my opinion on Phil Jackson joining the Knicks and will Melo stay? I think it's good for the Knicks. I mean, Phil Jackson's a big name. He commands respect because he's done a lot as a coach, and he was also a respected player. So I think he being there helps the organization. I don't know how much he's going to be able to do as the president of operations, basically the GM he's going to be. So we'll see. We'll see what he does. I mean, we can't make predictions on what player is going to sign where. I mean, I know that the journalists and on social media, people talk about that every day because that's their job, to keep some type of story going, even though it doesn't make sense because nothing can happen until the summer. So let's just see what happens. Do I think Melo will stay? That's tough. I would say it'd be very interesting if he was to go to another team because he's a really fucking good player. So if he goes to another team, he's really going to significantly help that team, especially if he was to play for the Heat or he's to play for the Bulls or the Lakers. If he goes to any of those teams, it's going to be a big story because he's going to be teamed up with another big star, whether that be Kobe or D Rose and Noah or the guys in Miami. So who knows? I really don't have a prediction. Let's just see what happens. Cole Boucher says, what player do I think, NBA player do I think I play like the most? Cole, somebody's asked me that question like 2-3 weeks in a row, so you should go look at the previous videos. Tristan Stevens says, how do you beat a team that's bigger in size than you and your whole team? Well, Tristan, there's not like a specific do this move and do that move and run this play and that play. You just got to go out there and play the game. I mean, so if you're at the point where you're saying, how do you beat that team? You just got to go out there and play. I mean, if y'all afraid because they bigger, then you might as well stay home. You're going to lose anyway. You just go out there and play. You look at, I mean, Roy Hibbert is bigger than LeBron James, but the Heat still won. I mean, Roy Hibbert bigger than everybody on the Heat's roster last year. They still beat him. Tim Duncan and Tiago Splitter is bigger than everybody the Heat got, and they still won. So it's not necessarily about somebody being bigger. You just got to have some heart. Go out there and play the game. Somebody being bigger doesn't necessarily mean they're going to win. It's like if you get in a fight, the guy's bigger don't necessarily mean he's going to win the fight. You just got to go out there and play the game. Shoot, dribble, pass, play basketball how you know how to play basketball. Navrut Chahal says, can I make a video? So whenever somebody starts a question with, can I make a video, I already know that whatever they ask, I've already done it. So let's see what he says. He says, can I make a video on how to improve hesitation or change the speed? Now, go to the search bar right at the top of the screen, type in my name, which is Dre Baldwin, and type in the word hesitation. And then do another search, type in my name, and then type in change of speed or changing speeds, and you'll see hundreds of videos covering both topics. Jeezy Dogspin says, do I have any tips on what NBA players do as workouts? Well, they practice. I mean, if you want to see a certain player, just search their name and look up workout. Maybe they'll have something posted. I mean, I can't tell you what any other person does but me. I can only speak for myself. So I don't know 100% of what nobody else does. I mean, maybe if you go on some website and look up some players' workout, they might show you a few things, but it's not many that you're going to see like an entire workout. There are a few, but if you look it up, I mean, search somebody's name and look up their workout. Maybe they'll have it, maybe they won't. But I can't speak for them. I can only speak for me. Dr. Chris 100 says he missed the last Q&A, but he's on this one. Here's his question. He says, I play basketball and I watch basketball. What have I noticed about basketball in my younger days and today? What differences do I see? Can I share my dunk story? Did I dream of dunking, or was it all about the fundamentals? Well, Dr. Chris, you got to ask a way more specific question than what differences do I see in basketball. You got to come with a way better question than that, Dr. Chris. You missed the last Q&A, then you came with that. And he says, can I tell my dunk story? There is no dunk story, Chris. I first dunked when I was 16 years old. I don't know how tall I was, and I can't estimate because then I'd be lying. So then it'd be useless information. Thanks for the question, though. Shalin Patel says, I have a situation, in all capital letters, a situation, like the guy off the Jersey Shore, right? He says, my coach knows I'm the best player on the team, and he even admits it. But he tells me the only way he'll get minutes or to be a starter is to blow him. What should I do? Shalin, I don't believe that. Please don't come here with that shit no more. New Voice 77 says, my first name actually Andre. Did I shorten it to Dre, or is it just Dre? New Voice, really, that's the question you had? My name's Dre, for all intents and purposes that you need to know. BBYCP321 says, do I believe teammates play a large part in your performance, or if you're good enough, it won't matter? Well, BBYCP, you're not specifying what it means. You said it won't matter. What's it? I mean, if you're a good player, you're going to show that you're a good player no matter who's on your team. If you're talking about winning or losing, of course, everybody on the court matters. Basketball is a 5-on-5 sport. One great player could sometimes pull out a victory for his team, even if his teammates aren't that good, but everybody needs to play their role in the game of basketball. So it's a yes and no type of thing. But you haven't specified what you mean when you say it won't matter. What exactly is it? DeAndre J says, I've been doing some of your ball handling drills. I'm going hard at them to the point my arms are sore after the workout. Is that normal? Well, DeAndre, when you exercise, do you expect to feel tired? I mean, exercise is going to make you tired. That's the point of exercising. You get tired, then your body gets stronger for the next time. David Hall says, everyone has a reason why they do something. What's the reason why I do all this? Somebody asks me this every week. This is the thing that I think I made a video about this. I didn't put it out yet. Me personally, I don't care why anybody else does what they do. Like, I don't care why Kevin Durant plays ball. I don't care why some author writes books. I don't care why nobody else on YouTube makes videos. I'm only concerned with me and what I'm doing. Like, I do what I do just because I feel like doing it. I mean, I get that same answer every time. If there are any other reasons that I don't share, then I just don't share them. You know, I don't share every single thing that I think in my mind in a YouTube video. But a lot of you ask me, oh, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Like, I made a weekly motivation videos a long time ago where I said, you know, I don't concern myself with what nobody else is doing. I don't care what nobody else is doing, thinking, saying. If it doesn't directly affect me, I don't give a fuck what nobody else is doing. I think some of you need to start adapting that. Like, don't worry about why I'm doing what I'm doing. You just need to focus on why you're doing what you're doing. That would be a much more valuable application of your mental energy than worrying about why I'm doing what I'm doing. So that's my answer to your question. David. Armand Morayer says, I love your vids and thanks. So thank you, Armand. He said his type of playing is more like Kevin Durant, but he wants to get some of Kyrie's attributes, like quick steps and pull-up jumpers from a crossover. So should I get the Kevin Durant signature workout first, or the Kyrie? He's referring to the programs at hoophandbook.com, NBA signature workouts. Armand, just pick one. I mean, you can't go wrong with either one. You saying you play like KD, but you want to be more like Kyrie. I mean, just pick one and get to work. I mean, you're wasting a lot of time thinking about that for no reason. Just pick one and start working. Andrea Vinci says, remember when I asked you that question about Americans lacking fundamentals? I believe he's referring to a question he asked in the previous one, and yes, I do remember that. He says, I don't think you got my point. Okay, but he has another question. All right. Well, I make a collaboration with Coach Nick of B-Ball Breakdown, Gannon Baker, or Eric Thomas. Andrea, you're missing the point. You're asking me questions that don't make sense, because I've already done a video with Eric Thomas's weekly motivation. I believe is weekly motivation number 91. If you look that up, and it's been on YouTube for over a year. As far as Coach Nick, I'm waiting on Coach Nick. Y'all had to ask Coach Nick about that. And as far as Gannon Baker, what is me and Gannon Baker going to talk about? Gannon Baker's a trainer, I understand that, but what is he going to say? What exactly do you want to hear from Gannon Baker that you haven't already heard? You give me some ideas on why I should do a video with somebody, and I'll do it. But I need to know why. Now, I'm not just going to do it just because he's a certain name and I'm a certain name. That doesn't make it worthwhile for me. Andrew Ballsout says, I'm 4'9", I'm 12 years old. I love what you do for the community. Well, thank you, Andrew. Anyway, I'm a driver. I like to drive to the hole. I'm a ball handler on the court. But I only weigh 85 pounds, I'm guessing. And I want to gain weight. What do I suggest for his age? Andrew, you're too young to be looking to gain weight. You're 12 years old. You just need to let your body grow and grow into your body, develop your body. You can't force yourself to gain weight at 12 years old. Just grow and keep living life. When you get to maybe about 16 or 17, if you still have that same problem, come back to me and I'll give you some information. But for right now, just live life. You're 12 years old. P. Baldwin says, I ever posterized someone? I have. I don't think I have any of them on video, but I have definitely dunked on people. He says, what are my thoughts on Dominique Wilkins saying he could drop 40 on the Bobcats at 50 years old, because that was his reaction when he saw LeBron score 61. What are my thoughts on it? I don't have any thoughts on it. I mean, it's just what he said. I mean, it's not going to happen. They're not going to play, so we're not ever going to know. So I really don't care. Like, all that, I don't know what's the word for it, conjecture, and people just talk about shit that's never actually, we never actually want to get the actual truth to it, but it's just a conversation. I know with all the social media we got these days that people make whole discussions. I mean, ESPN got a whole TV show called First Take where they basically make up storylines and arguments about absolutely nothing for 2 hours just to have something to talk about, and people really get riled up about it. And I'm like, none of this stuff is actually even happening. Who cares? But I understand that's the way the world is these days, but I don't feed into none of that shit. So Dominique Wilkins saying he could drop 40, who cares? Is he going to get out there and play? No. So Ant Reed says, what's my opinion on the Sixers' future? Do I think they will possibly be contenders in the near future? Well, Ant, no, I'm actually a Philadelphia native. I think the Sixers have a really good, I think on paper they have a great outlook because they got a lot of great young players. Nerlens Noel hasn't even played all season. They got Carter Williams, who's really good, who might end up being Rookie of the Year. They got a few other good young players. I mean, Thaddeus Young, I like him. I don't know if he's going to still be there. Roten is actually really talented. I don't know if they're going to be able to work Roten and Carter Williams together because they both play the same position. But I think you got two players who are really good. They'll find a way to work it out. They got a good coach. I like the coach. He's really good. They probably will have a top 5 pick this year, hopefully. Actually, I think depending on where they finish in the standings, they're going to be guaranteed a pick no worse than, if they finish with the worst record, the worst pick they can get is the 4th pick. Because the lottery actually is only for the top 3 teams and everybody else falls in order. So I think they'll end up with a top 5 pick, however it shakes out. So I think they have a chance to be really good, depending on who they draft, how the players actually develop. So we can't really say until we see them get on the court, because we don't even know what Nerlens Noel can do in the NBA. We haven't seen him play yet. On paper, it looks great, but we got to see what they actually do. So I do think they have a chance to be contenders, but until they actually do it, you don't know. Jacob Mendez says, great vids, man. Thank you, Jacob. He says, by the way, do I know what workouts he can do to work on his jump shot? He's tried almost everything. He's still inconsistent. Doesn't mean I give up on scoring, but I want to add this piece to my game. What should I do? Well, Jacob, you said you tried almost everything. Now, I get emails from people all the time who say stuff to me like that. Like, yo, I'm trying to do blank, fill in the blank. It could be anything. It could be trying to get better handles. I'm trying to get on the basketball team. I'm trying to go play overseas. And then they say, I've tried everything and nothing works. What should I do? Jacob, name 10 things you tried. All right, so in the comments to this video, I'll answer your question next week. Actually, I'm going to give you 2 answers. I'm going to answer your question more specifically next week, but I want you to leave a comment in this video and name the 10 things you tried. Because you said you've tried, let me see what his question is. He said he's tried almost everything. So, Jacob, I want you to name that everything that you tried. Tell me exactly what the everything is you tried, and then we'll address that next week for everyone to hear, because I'm sure a lot of people had that same question and use that same rationalization, which I know is false. So I'm going to use you as an example since you posted this question. But Jacob, if you want to be good at shooting a jump shot, then go work on your jump shot. I mean, I don't really understand what you're asking me. It's like somebody asking me, they saying I want to be good at dribbling. What should I do? You need to go fucking dribble the ball. I mean, I don't understand. I really don't understand the thought process behind some of these questions you're asking me. You're asking me how to do something, but then you're explaining how to do it within the question. So if you want to look at some drills for shooting, you said, Jacob, you told me that I make great vids, which means you've seen my videos and I'm shooting, and half the videos I put out on the court are driving and half of them are shooting. So, I mean, what is it that I'm missing here? Type in my name and type in shooting. Type in jump shot. Type in jumper. I got hundreds of videos on any one of those searches you type in. You're going to see hundreds of videos. If you're looking for a specific program that I tell you exactly what to do and how to do it, go to hoophandbook.com. Look at the signature workouts. Look at the skills workouts. I got you covered. I mean, you said great vids, which means you know what I do here, so I don't understand exactly what you're asking me. Vladimir 1. You already asked me a question, Vladimir. Boy Wonder Kid 23 says, how do I play a basketball game without cracking under pressure and getting scared? Boy Wonder, you do that by playing in as many games as possible until you no longer feel pressure or fear. You just got to keep doing the thing that makes you feel pressured or afraid, and eventually you won't be afraid anymore. Khalid Osman says, any exercise I can do to strengthen my legs? I'm a teenager, I can't go to the gym yet, and I want to touch the rim in a few months. Khalid, there's two things you can do. Number one, you can take a look at the jump manual if you're looking to actually jump, as you mentioned, touching the rim. You can get that at dreallday.com/jump. Use that link. I actually offer free Hoop Handbook programs to anyone who forwards me the receipt from getting the jump manual using that link, dreallday.com/jump. You don't use that link, the offer is not good to you. Otherwise, as far as strength, in addition to the jump manual program, which is for jumping and explosion and speed, you can take a look at the Ultimate Athlete program. That's a 15-week program written by my trainer. Her name is Maria Solon-Scally. It's 15 weeks and you can do it at home. It requires no weights, no equipment. You don't even need to go to the gym. You can do it on the front lawn if you want. You can do it in the basement. And that's at hoophandbook.com. It's called the Ultimate Athlete. Tom Henderson says, I have a quick question. It'd be great if you could answer. Okay, Tom. He says, I have a really bad wingspan for my height. I don't know what he means by bad wingspan. I guess he means his arms are not longer. His arms are not abnormally long, which is usually basketball players' arms are longer than you would expect for wingspan. And by expect, for those who don't know, usually your wingspan, when you spread your arms apart, is the exact same as your actual height. A lot of basketball players, we have long arms, so our wingspan is actually longer than our actual height. Like I'm 6'4", my wingspan is probably about 6'7" or 6'8", and there are people who's even longer. Like somebody like Dwayne Wade, his wingspan is like 7 feet, which is crazy. I think it's 7 feet, might be 6'9". Don't quote me on that. But anyway, he says he has a bad wingspan with his height, so he struggles with his dribble moves. Does this mean he needs to bend lower to the ground when he dribbles or change the dribble to make this come up higher? Tom, that is the most absolute bullshit excuse I've ever heard for being a bad ball handler. All right, the length of your arms has nothing to do with the fact that you're not good at dribbling. The fact that you're not good at dribbling is 100% because you have not put in the work and the time to get better at it. Don't ever, ever, ever use your size or lack of size, whether that be your hands, your arms, your legs, how tall you are. Don't ever use that as an excuse for lacking skill. You lack skill because you haven't put in the work yet. So use the videos that I posted. Ball handling, just type in Dre Baldwin ball handling, Dre Baldwin dribbling. You will see over 300 videos. And you do all of those. You go find the one that says simple daily dribbling drills. You do that every single day for 5 years. I guarantee you your handle will be excellent. Excellent. Not good, not better, excellent. If you're looking for actual drills to do all the time so you can follow yourself, go to hoophandbook.com. Take a look at the Signature Handles bundle. It comes not only with a DVD, but also the Kyrie Irving and the Chris Paul Signature Workout programs. But please, the length of your arms has nothing to do with the fact that you're not good at dribbling. The Annoying Asian says, if I could go back and play basketball for any college you wanted, which one would it be? It'd be the one that I played at. I wouldn't go back and change anything. I want it to be exactly as it is. Mon Rosales says, thanks for helping me out in the last Q&A. You're welcome, Mon. He says, it helped me out. I'm doing well at scrimmages now. That's good. I'm glad to hear that I gave you some information, you applied it, and now you've done better. So congratulations on that. Don't give me the credit. Give yourself the credit. He says he needs he has something else. He says his friends tell him he has a weird shooting form and moves on the court. He tries to change the shooting form, but he can't. But he can make buckets and shoot the ball. So his question is, should he change his shooting form? Mom, listen to this. If I walked up to you and told you that your skin was the wrong color, would you go and try to change your skin color? If I told you that your shoes was ugly, would you go buy some different shoes and throw your shoes out? Like if you bought some brand new shoes, as soon as you walked out the store, I said those are some ugly shoes. Or your friends told you they was ugly, would you throw them in the trash and go buy a new pair because it's what they suggested? You can't live your life basing your decisions, your actions, and your thoughts on what other people say. What do you say is the question, Mom. So my question to you in response to your question is, what do you think about your shooting form and your moves? Do you think there's something wrong with them? If the answer is yes, then make changes. You already know how to play basketball. You already said you're doing well at scrimmages. It means you know how to play basketball. You know how to practice. You know how to improve your game. You watch my videos, so you learn some stuff from me and applied it to yourself. So you already know. You don't need me to tell you nothing. So my question to you is, what do you say? Not what your friends say. What do you say? Whatever that answer is, that's what you need to follow. Rob J says, do I still eat any junk food? I had to cut that completely out of my diet, so what do I still eat? Rob, when I make my next diet and nutrition video, I will address those things. But the short answer, occasionally I do eat stuff. Like even in the other videos, I always said, occasionally I still eat some kind of junk all the time. I don't think it was ever a point where I was eating absolutely zero. There's always something here and there. Potato chips here, cookies there. There's always something. Joe Cawley says, could I possibly do Isaiah Thomas, the point guard from the Sacramento Kings, a signature workout program with Isaiah Thomas? Joey, the next group of signature workouts coming out, Isaiah is not in that group, but if he keeps doing his thing, and I get requests for it, Isaiah could definitely be coming in the future. So thanks for the suggestion. So answer is not yet, but thank you for letting me know. Jay Lee 98 says he recently broke his hand. Is there any drills to maintain your basketball skills with a broken hand? Well, Jay Lee, how you gonna play? You can't dribble or shoot with a broken hand, Jay Lee. And I'm telling you something that you already know. So you tell me what you can do. All right, one in your hand still works, so you could probably use that one. But, I mean, you asked me a question that you already know the answer to, so you got to come to me with a better question next time. Batu 1383. So I'm a point guard, and I'm small. Most of the time it's hard to get a layup without contact. This question is, how do I get better at making layups with contact? Or more tips to improve my layups against a taller defender. Well, Batu, to get better at making layups with contact, you got to practice making layups with contact, which means playing in more games, playing against people who are bigger than you, who could possibly block your shot. And if you're playing against people who are bigger than you, who are blocking your shot or making you miss with contact, ask them like, hey, you see I'm missing these layups with contact, or I'm missing because you might block my shot. Can you give me some information? What is it I'm doing that's allowing you to block my shot? What are you doing to stop me? Can you give me some tips? Can you help me? When you play against a player who's better than you and they beat you, and then after the game you try to ask them for some information on how they beat you, what you could do better, I guarantee you 99.9% of players who do that, they will give you some information after the game, after they just beat you. Now, if you beat them, they might not want to talk to you. But if they beat you and you say, yo, how'd you do that? Can you give me some tips on this? Can you tell me how I can improve this? All of them will help you out. So open your mouth and ask them. Same things you asking me, ask them. As far as finishing, with contact against taller people or getting better at it, you can take a look. I got a program in Hoop Handbook called Scoring Over Bigger Defenders. You can also take a look at the programs for smaller guys. Steph Curry, all players who finish below the rim. Below the rim players, Chris Paul is one, Kyrie's another, Steph Curry is another, Allen Iverson is another guy, Tony Parker is another, Damian Lillard. All these guys I have signature workout programs for, posted on the hoophandbook.com website. And each one of those, if you actually look at the program description, you'll see I have a list of what's in each program, so you can see what's in it before you get it. So you know, does this cover scoring over bigger defenders, finishing in the paint when you're small? All those guys are below the rim players. Not saying they can't possibly dunk. A lot of players can dunk, but I'm saying, well, how do they play? Are they above the rim players or are they below the rim players? All those guys play below the rim, and you can work on their skills based on their skills with the Hoop Handbook programs. Jamie Gonzalez says, am I in the $500,000 tournament, and do I have a full team? Jamie, you're posting that comment on a video last week where I gave specific instructions on what I'm doing with that, so you already know the answer to that. Daniel Boras says, do I think A 5'9" guy who's white could dunk if they trained. Yes, I do. Mergs416 Gaming says, my favorite country or city I have visited and played basketball at. I liked all of them. There wasn't any place that I didn't like. If I had to pick one off the top of my head, I'd probably say Kaunas, Lithuania. That was my first contract ever. Guadalajara, Mexico was another. Herceg-Novi, Montenegro was another I liked. But there's no place that I didn't like. Everywhere. Johnny Yadane, actually, Slizert Moon. He said, am I making working your game wristbands? And if so, when are they coming? Yes, I am, and they're coming. When I tell you that they're here, then you'll know. He says, they're awesome. I made him a better player. I'm happy to hear that, Slizert, so thank you. Johnny Yadane says, how do you play basketball and go to work and pay bills? Because he's in college, he doesn't have time to have practice basketball. Would I tell him, please, no offense? Well, Johnny, you got 24 hours in your day, so prioritize. Do the things that you most need to do and do the things you want to do, prioritize them. I mean, I'm not going to hand you any more hours in a day. So it's something you're doing over the course of the day that you could cut out and take the time to practice basketball and go ahead and do it. If you only got 20 minutes to practice, then that's all you got. You got 30 minutes, you got 30 minutes. You got 3 hours, you got 3 hours. But as far as telling you how to do it, I mean, you would have to ask me something much more specific. You had to give me specifics on your life if that's what you want to do. If you really need somebody to tell you how to manage your time, then that's what you would need to do. Give me actual specifics on your life. But just saying how do you do it, it's not a good enough question. But since you're in college, I mean, you're old enough, you know how to count. You're basically an adult. You could figure out what you need to prioritize. If you want to have time to do something else, that means something that you're doing now has to go or be reduced in order to add something else in. But you already know that, Johnny. Afro No Mo says, if I could get a sponsor from any sports brand or company, which would it be and why? It wouldn't matter. They would have to, that company, any sports brand or company had to reach out to me. We had to have a discussion. It's not all about the name or the logo. It's about, because if you're talking about sponsorship, we're talking business. So the whole business deal had to be worked out, and the details of that those are all specific to the situation. So it's not just about any certain brand. So we'll have to see what happens in the future. Thanks for the question. Mr. Mackey says, no, he didn't say anything. Heat Nation Wins says, have you ever played ball in Puerto Rico? I plan on visiting Puerto Rico anytime soon. I have never played ball in Puerto Rico, but I hear they have a very good league. I know a lot of players who have played there. And sure, I'll definitely visit Puerto Rico. It's not in the immediate plans, but I do plan on seeing Puerto Rico sometime in the future. State of Nate 802. We got 3 questions left. He says, are you a good rapper? Have you ever had any experience with rappers? Have you ever considered pursuing any experience with rapping? Have you ever considered pursuing rap seriously? No, no, and hell no. Dmitry Tukovic says, the Ultimate Athlete Program. Does the Ultimate Athlete Program help me with my vertical, or is it just overall strength and agility? Or any exercise in the program for increasing your vertical? Dmitry Head. Ultimate Athlete covers speed, quickness, agility, power, vertical jump, core power, flexibility, stamina, conditioning, and endurance. All of that is covered in the Ultimate Athlete. If you're looking for a program that specifically addresses jumping, look at the jump manual, dreallday.com/jump. The Ultimate Athlete is, the name says it all. It's for overall athleticism, your entire body to be a basketball player. It's not just jumping. You want to play basketball, you got to be able to do more than just jump. You got to have strength, you need your core power, you need agility, you need stamina, you need the footwork, you need the speed, you need the quickness, you need the reaction time. All of that's covered in the Ultimate Athlete. So if you want to just jump higher, that's the only thing you want to work on, dreallday.com/jump for the jump manual. Last question, Rashab Merota says, every time I play with my friend one-on-one, he never forces me any direction, left or right. He plays me straight up. Can I tell him a couple of moves to use when a defender plays him straight up? Rashab, I'll do you one better. I'll show you 3,000 moves you can use when a defender plays you straight up. Just go to my channel, which you already know what that is. Just click on my name right there, and you'll see all those moves. You can use any one you want. So you don't need a couple of moves. You got a million. The thing is, when you get into a game, you're not going to be able to think about a move like, oh yeah, let me do that move that I saw Dre doing on YouTube. That's not how basketball works. You need to play and play and practice and practice and practice till you get to the point that you do moves without thinking about them. When you watch my one-on-one videos or any game videos, I'm not coming down the court thinking about, or I'm gonna do this move, or I'm gonna do that move. You just come down and do stuff. You don't have time to think about it. The game moves too fast to think about a move. So if you're thinking about moves or you're asking a question, can you give me a couple of moves to do? Because once you do a move on somebody, they seen you do that move. You're not gonna be able to just keep doing the same move over and over again if you just planned it out and that's the only move you know. How many moves can you memorize? Not that many. And when you play against different defenders and a defender adjusts, you might not be able to use that move anymore. You might have a move memorized or 5 memorized moves that you can't even use if he plays you a certain way. So you have to keep practicing to the point that you do moves without thinking about it. You do them instinctively, which is a major thing I cover in the Hoop Handbook Signature Workouts. And you're asking for a couple moves. I got over 3,000 vids here on YouTube, Rashad. You gotta come to me with a better question and give me a couple of moves. So that's that, everybody. I had a few whack questions this week, but not too many. Y'all came with some good questions. As long as y'all keep coming with good quality questions, we'll keep this thing going. Watch the videos. All right, if you ask me something that I already covered, then it's not going to get addressed again. So watch the video before you just post a question blindly. I don't want to have to ignore you, but I will ignore you if you ask me a question I've already addressed. Thank you, everybody, for coming through with the questions. You already know DreAllDay.com/jump for the jump manual. I'm put some annotations up here somewhere for anything else you might need to know about. You need some guides and tips on basketball, go to my website, DreAllDay.com, where I write about many things. That's that. Everybody enjoy the weekend, enjoy March Madness. Work on your game. Dre all day.